whenever I see women on TikTok, and I'm seeing it through YouTube videos, asking the same questions over and over and over again, the whole, where are the good men? Where are the men? Are they hiding? Are they scared? Are they intimidated? They're this, that, the third, blah, 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 blah. I roll my eyes. I'm like, come on, come up with something new. This is getting tiresome. And the thing that gets me is that, the chivalry is dead. And then I'm just looking at them like, no, really? Chivalry is dead in your mind. In a lot of men's minds, the chivalry is dead due to the things I'm going to say. They don't reciprocate. They're just not, they don't act like women. The femininity is dead in men's mind. The masculinity in women is here to stay, unfortunately. And there's a double standard, cherry picking, shaming tactics, and all this other stuff that other content creators, other users have commented on. And I've said, why should a man put all the effort into a relationship or dating and all this other stuff just to be treated like a jack of all trades? Personal chef, personal mechanic, electrician, a teacher, a father figure, sponsor, my favorite of them all, a personal ATM. Draining financially. Then when things go sideways, he's being blamed, he's being shamed, name called, everything under the sun. You know what I mean? It's tiresome. And women need to just look themselves in the mirror and to say to themselves, your expectations are out of the solar system, unrealistic. You're not going to get the men that you're going to be getting. If women shouldn't have to settle, why should men? You know what I mean? So, and I think women need to delete the dating apps because it sure as hell ain't helping them. Go to unfamiliar places you haven't been before. It'd be good for y'all. So, you know what? I'm excited for Assassin's Creed Shadows that's coming out in November 15th of this year. It was announced a month ago. You're going to have a dual protagonist, Naoe, Naoe. If I pronounce her name wrong, I apologize. I'm still trying to learn how to speak Japanese. And Yasuke, a historical figure, a black samurai. Everybody and their mom and dad and kids have lost their minds. Like 95% of it has been nothing but toxic negativity around this character. To the point where they say, I'm not playing this game. This is awful. A black man deleting Asians is just awful. It's Asian representation gone wrong. Blah, 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 blah. They could have put him in a different game and everybody would have been fine. Okay, here's the deal. Where were the very same people screaming bloody murder, piss and moan about other things like a white samurai in The Last Samurai in a Matt Damon movie that came out a few years ago? I don't remember anybody said a thing. What about Assassin's Creed games where you have Assassin's Creed 3 protagonist killing whites despite the fact he's biracial? Nobody said a word. Assassin's Creed 3 Liberations where you have an Afro-French lady, the first black woman in the history of the franchise, killing slave owners, happened to be white. Where were y'all at? Nowhere to be found. Y'all were quiet as a mouse. Assassin's Creed Freedom Cry, you were killing slave owners. The game is 15 years after Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag. Where were y'all at? You were nowhere to be found. That's my point. But all of a sudden, a dual protagonist, Yasuke as a historical figure, now it's a problem. Please go sit down and be quiet and shut the hell up. This is why I believe that today's video games are trash. If it ain't the developers, it's the publishers. If it ain't them, it's the business tactics are still running amok. And you have the video game community finding all things to complain about, controversy that shouldn't be there in the first place. So I don't get it. I'm happy for Assassin's Creed Shadows. It's about time for feudal Japan. Ever since 2020, which is the pandemic year, Chick-Fil-A has gone down significantly for me and my family in terms of the quality of their food and how good it used to be. Now, it's one thing to have young people, and I get it, they're inexperienced, but you have mixture of people with, inexperience and way tons of experience, then and it's still turning out where the food isn't good. And let's not even get into the sweet tea being watery and it's more sugar than the actual tea. And if you get me started with their lettuce, where it is not fresh, not crunchy, it is slimy and it's about 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks old, I will lose my mind. Not to mention my mother had to make a phone call and a survey to complain about it. I mean, Chick-fil-A, what's going on? Y'all good? I mean, you better step your game up or Zaxby's going to take y'all out. Now, do y'all remember where a month ago there was talk about the a man versus a bear conversation or a trending topic where people just lost their mind? Women were eating it up. People, men who were panderers to women were just going crazy. And then you have the rest of the men absolutely went bonkers for a good reason, saying that, hey, don't compare us to a bear. We're not that dangerous. And this, that, and the third. Don't generalize and demonize and criticize and vilify us just because of bad apples that are, serial killers like Ted Bundy, Jeffrey Dahmer, those guys. So yeah, that's the one I was telling you about, how toxic it was to the point where I had to put the women, the feminists, and the panda bears, I'm talking about the simps, on blast. But there was a trend that happened on TikTok. This time it was a woman versus a tree. Long story short, it was about a man responding to a woman, Stitch. A man versus bear. He said, "Would you tell your feelings to a woman or to a tree?" Oh goodness, it is funny, but at the same time, I had to do a little research on, Google, and yeah, I mean, it is true. I mean. Why would a man will tell his feelings, his emotions to a woman only to be weaponized and being demonized, be criticized, and being name called, shame tactics to the sun? It will drive a man to self-deletion, and that's not right. And mental health is important. Not just women, it's men too. And I think there's a study somewhere, I can't remember. And it was, you're seeing more and more men, their health is deteriorating to the point of, you guessed it, self-deletion. And they can't tell their feelings. They can't, let out their emotions. They can't do those type of things without being, being name called and everything else. I mean, you have to listen to us men. I mean, if not, it's going to be a problem. So, I mean, I just think that topic, a woman versus tree, it is funny in certain ways, but it's also helpful. And it's not toxic like most people are saying, especially with women and feminists. And speaking of which, they were making fun of men just for that alone. And that's the sad part. And with that, I'm done with the 4-way rant. What's your thoughts? Have a nice day.